Jamont, now to a deadly house explosion this morning in Southgate. This was the view from Sky 4 shortly after 9:30 this morning when it happened. The 59-year-old woman who owned the home lived there many years. She was killed in this explosion. Jason Colthorpe spoke with neighbors who say they saw smoke coming out of the home just before the blast.
From the front of this house here on Cunningham in Southgate, it's hard to see just exactly how severe this damage is. But around back, you can see just how bad it is. The entire backside of this house blown up and blown away by a series of explosions, as many as 5, according to the neighbor right next door. Inside were several oxygen tanks, according to investigators. The homeowner, a 59-year-old woman, was killed by this blast, and neighbors say she'd been here several years, but in the most recent years, hadn't gotten out of the house very often because of her health. Here's what neighbors saw and heard when this all happened at 9:30 this morning.
I heard this horrible, loud boom. Thought something had hit the house.
Luckily, other than that, it just blew out a couple windows. Unfortunately, one of them was in my daughter's room, like right above her bed. I heard her scream because she was asleep. It scared her, so she sat right up. She screamed. Brandon LANCOUR had known the woman who died since he was 5 years old. He got the word when he was at work.
I was on a roof and I collapsed and sat down and started crying. At first it didn't seem real. She's a wonderful lady, very kind, humble lady.
They usually ride their bikes and they're usually up and down and in and out of that driveway all day long. So if it had been a little bit later in the day, I mean, them or any one of the neighborhood kids that play in our yard and with them, they could have been the wrong place at the wrong time.
And there are the bikes. Easily kids could have been playing right next to that fence where a lot of this damage was done. And fire investigators currently going through that home, trying to piece together. We've seen them up and down the fence line trying to figure out the blast radius and clues, looking into just what caused this. And as we get more information, including the identity of the woman who was killed, we'll be passing it along. In Southgate, Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.